afternoon from Yankee Stadium. The Yankees will try to shut down the Chicago White Sox offense and take Game 3 of this 3-game series. Pitching matchups today, left-hander Ken Patterson for Chicago. He'll be opposed by Yankee right-hander Jimmy Jones. Hi, everybody. I'm Tommy Hutton, along with Bobby Mercer. We're glad you joined us today for Yankee Baseball on MSG. And with the acquisitions of Eric Plunk, Greg Cadaret, and Luis Polonia, the Yankees have some decisions to make. Dallas Green is going to have to make those decisions.
Well, good decisions for Dallas Green because now he's got some pitching. He got two new pitchers who will be in the bullpen this afternoon for the Yankees, but it also gives him some flexibility. Greg Cadaret will probably stay in the bullpen. If he does, that gives Dallas a chance to move Lee Guterman in the starting rotation if he needs to move him there. Also, Eric Plunk is a starter. He can be used as a long relief guy or a starter, so it gives Dallas a little bit more flexibility.
And Luis Polonia, who is a left-handed hitter, a leadoff man primarily. What's Dallas going to do with him?
Well, I'm not really sure. In fact, he's not playing this afternoon because the Chicago White Sox are starting a left-handed pitcher. Mel Hall is in the outfield, but it also gives Dallas a little bit more flexibility on the bench. Polonia has got speed. He can use him as a pinch runner. You use him as a pinch hitter, and he could use him if he makes a move during the ball game.
All right, so far in the first 2 games of this series, the White Sox have scored 20 runs. The Yankees will try to shut that down and win this afternoon.
Rich McMahon and John Madden here for Letterman.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling, tastes great. By your Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealers, where you can always expect the best. By The Wiz, remember, for everything in home entertainment, nobody beats The Wiz. And by Marine Midland Bank. Let's work it out together.
Well, a bright, sunshiny, hot, humid afternoon here at Yankee Stadium as the Yankees try to win this ball game to avoid a sweep from the Chicago White Sox. Let's look at the White Sox lineup very quickly. As you can see, basically the same. The only change is that Karkovice is catching this afternoon. Carlton Fisk is not in the lineup. That's good news for the Yankees. Jimmy Jones will be on the mound for the Yanks. And Jones will be making his 5th appearance and 5th start since being recalled for the Columbus Clippers. Done a fine job in his last outing. We're about ready to get underway, and here to call the action for you is Tommy Hutton.
Okay, Bobby, is the former first-round pick of the San Diego Padres. Jimmy Jones gets ready for the first pitch of the game. A good look at a fastball. Dave Gallagher had a good look at it, and it was outside. Ball 1. Dave Gallagher has started every ball game for the White Sox this year. And with that .295 batting average, he's a pleasant addition to the White Sox lineup. A strike and the count evens 1-1.
Well, the White Sox are really feasting on Yankee pitching here in 1989. In fact, in today's lineup, there are 7 guys hitting over 300 against the Yankee pitchers.
And Gallagher will up that .295 average with a shot into center field. The defense playing behind Jimmy Jones this afternoon at Yankee Stadium sets up in this manner. Hall, Kelly, and Barfield in the outfield. Brookins and Espinosa on the left side. Sachs and Mattingly hold things down on the right side of the infield. And Bob Guerin behind the plate, calling the pitches for a familiar Jimmy Jones.
Well, the last 2 days have really been long days for the Yankees playing against the White Sox. The White Sox, up until that hit, had banged out 31, making 32 hits now against the Yankees in the first 3 ball games.
Steve Lyons, a hitter.
They've also scored a total of 20 runs. 13 in the first game and 7 last night.
Good combination right here for Jeff Torborg, the Chicago manager, with Gallagher at first, Lyons a hitter. Jones misses again outside, and it's 2-0.
Well, a lot of flexibility. You got a left-handed batter up there against a right-handed pitcher. As you take a look at Ron Clark, the third base coach for the White Sox, flashing signs. You got Gallagher, who is a pretty good and aggressive base runner at first base. Lyons will be looking for something that he can pull in between first and second.
He doesn't pull it. He pops it out of play, and it's 2-1.
A good second place hitter, Tommy, will always, when he goes to the plate in this situation, will look for something, at least up until the first strike. Look for something that he can pull and hit hard to the right side. I mean, they are giving you that big hole between first and second. Why not try to take advantage of it? On the other hand, Jimmy Jones, Bob Guerin, they're trying to pitch Steve Lyons away, keep him from pulling the ball the right side.
So the ideal number 2 hitter is a left-hander, fairly good speed that can make contact, pull the ball, or perhaps a right-hander who can go the other way well.
Absolutely, who has good bat control.
So it's 2-1 to the versatile Steve Lyons. Jones trying to stay away, misses for ball 3.
A second-place batter really has to do so much. In fact, he gives himself up more than anything else by moving runners over, sacrificing, giving the runner at first base a chance to steal a base, taking a pitch here and there. He really has to be flexible if you've got a good second-place hitter.
Good pitch right here for the White Sox. Lyons pops it in the air. Brookins over near the fence, and it curls out of play. So the count's full 3-2. Nobody out. Ball game just underway. And I would imagine that Gallagher, the runner at first base, will be off and flying on a 3-2 pitch. As he talks things over with Yankee first baseman Don Mattingly.
Well, the one guy you don't want to have to face, if you could help it, is Harold Baines in this lineup. He's the on-deck batter.
There goes Gallagher, and the pitch misses to Steve Lyons. So a base hit and a walk, and the White Sox have a couple of runners on with nobody out for Harold Baines. Jimmy Jones in his last outing pitched very well. A 6-1 win against the Texas Rangers. It was the second game of that doubleheader on Saturday. Went 6 innings, allowed just 3 hits, 1 run, no walks in that ball game, and he has already walked 1 today.
Well, there's always one guy in every lineup that you do not want to let beat you. Harold Baines is that guy in the White Sox lineup. On the other hand, Don Mattingly for the Yankees. A good curveball on the outside corner. That's the best pitch that Jimmy Jones has thrown so far in this ball game. And Baines against the Yankees, hitting .333, 3 home runs and 9 RBIs already here in 1989.
Another curve, hard shot. Sachs has it. Espinosa to Mattingly, and it's a double play. Well, as an infielder, you look for the hard ground ball to turn 2. Sachs might not have wanted it that hard, but he stayed with it, and the Yankees get the 2.
Well, you could care less as long as you get the double play. Sachs was, whoops, it went into my glove. I better go ahead and flip it on over to Espinosa to complete this double play. But you don't have a whole lot of time. That ball was scorched. He didn't have a whole lot of time to react to it.
I tell you, that's the amazing thing about this game. You think about how hard that ball was hit compared to some of the ones hit last night by Chicago that drove in runs. Here's Ivan Calderon. Pasqua was able to sneak one through the infield. Ozzie Guillen blooped one over the infield, picked up 2 RBIs last night. All of a sudden now Jimmy Jones looking at a better situation, a runner at third. Dave Gallagher with 2 out now, and the count's 1-1 to Ivan Calderon.
The Yankees have in their starting rotation so many guys that are really alike in their pitching styles. Jimmy Jones, not overpowering, not a strikeout pitcher. Fastball, he throws it a couple of ways. He will also cut the fastball. The curveball is a good pitch for Jimmy Jones. He's got the changeup. But the point I'm making is that he has to spot his fastball in order to get by. He has to make the good pitches. Same thing goes for Andy Hawkins, Dave LaPointe, Dave Island, Clay Parker.
2-1 hit on the hands. Espinosa makes the 2-out play. And after a no-out, runners at first and second situation, Jimmy Jones and the Yankees work out of it in the top of the first. No runs come home for the White Sox. We'll go to the bottom of the first. No score.
Well, back at Yankee Stadium, the Chicago White Sox did not score top half the first inning. The Yankees coming to bat. And And the Yankee lineup looks like this. Steve Sax leading off once again. He gives the Yankees a lot of flexibility up there. He's got bunting ability. He's got speed. He also makes contact. Espinosa, the last night, showed a lot of experience, batting at second in the second spot, hitting behind the runner, allowing Steve Sax to try to steal a base or two. That may be the combination for the rest of the year, Sax and Espinosa. Basically, the lineup is the same against the left-handed pitcher. Bobby Guerin getting a start behind the plate this afternoon on a day game after a night game. And on the mound is Ken Patterson, former Yankee. Been in 25 games so far. This will be his 26th game and his first start of the year, and his first start against the New York Yankees. In his last outing, he only lasted, well, he went 4 2/3 innings in relief. The defense behind Kenny Patterson, Pasqua in left field, Gallagher center, Calderon in right. Manrique at second base. Again, that's the combination double play that the Chicago White Sox use, and Manrique has really played some superb baseball. Steve Sax, Espinosa, and Mattingly, the first three up here in the bottom half of the first inning. Tommy?
And with Ken Patterson never making a start, here's a starter working out of the stretch. Nobody on base, and it seems to be comfortable for him as the first pitch is a strike.
Well, our Miller Genuine Draft, what's on tap, will be coming up a little bit later on, right after probably this next pitch.
Inside to Saxon, it's 1-1.
Now let's take a look at that Miller Genuine Draft, what's on tap, and it is Steve Sax. You can see that Sax, pretty good leadoff man, batting .356 when he led off an inning, and has reached base 7 times on errors by opposing infielders. But the one thing I like about Steve Sax leading off, Tommy, as opposed to Henderson when he was here with the Yankees, Sax will do everything that he can to try to reach base, to try to get on base. He knows that that's his job. He has plenty of experience because he led off with the Dodgers. He can bunt. He's got speed. He will push the ball. Something Rickey Henderson did not do. He really didn't utilize a lot of the ability that he had because he didn't bunt enough, I thought.
Sax drills one into center, a base hit. So Steve Sax, for 141 games last year, led off for the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, feels extremely comfortable in that role now with the Yankees.
Number 20, Alvaro Espinosa.
You had talked, Bobby, about Ken Patterson, the left-hander on the mound today for the White Sox. Having been a former Yankee, he never made the Major League Ball Club, but he was in the Yankee system, originally signed with New York. He came to the White Sox in the deal when the Yankees acquired Jerry Royster, utility infielder, back in August of 1987. Espinosa up there takes strike one.
Sax and Espinosa right now are just feeling each other out. They've talked a lot about what they want to do, especially when Sax is on at first base. You can see Espinosa taking a lot of pitches, allowing Steve Sax to get his adjustment on that pitcher in case he wants to try to steal a base. But the one thing I like about SP, and it really hasn't been talked about that much, is the fact that when he goes to home plate, he's got an idea about what he wants to do and about what the situation is in the game.
He also knows what to do with runners on base. There goes Sax. Espinosa off the hands. He bloops it. It's going to drop. Sax didn't know where the ball was, sliding into second, and he'll have to stay there. So a good decoy by Fred Manrique. Sax running on that pitch. Couldn't quite pick up the baseball and has to stay at second.
Well, it's a bad play on Steve Sax, the base runner. He took too long to take a look back. He knew that Espinosa had a strike on him, and if Patterson threw another ball in the strike zone, he was going to have to swing at it. I see a lot more players, for some reason or another, here in the 80s, that when they take off and they're stealing a base, they never turn back to look to see where the heck the ball is.
Well, I think that time it was a straight steal and a runner
Doesn't
more
make
often
any
than
difference.
not. But more often than not, I know you're saying that, you'll see a runner when it's not a hit and run on a straight steal will not look back. He did look back, but it was a little bit too late. So Mattingly's up there with runners at first and second, nobody out. Same situation the White Sox had in the top of the first. No score in the game. Runners go again. Strong throw by Karkovice, nails Sax at third.
Well, Well, you got one of the premier guys behind home plate, Karkovice. That's what he's known for, is throwing out runners. And the Yankees here testing Karkovice's arm with runners at first and second, nobody out, and Mattingly up at the plate. And Karkovice, if it wasn't for Karkovice's arm, he probably wouldn't even be in the major leagues because he's not a very good hitter, but an outstanding defensive catcher.
Good shot of the tag applied by third baseman Steve Lyons. You think right there was a situation of Sachs maybe trying to recover from his mistake going to second?
Maybe trying to be a little bit more aggressive than he should have in that situation. I think you got to give Mattingly a chance to hit against Patterson first.
Mattingly pulls one, and you were talking about Ron Karkovice, number one, an advantage to the catcher when a left-handed hitter is up there, and number two, Karkovice is 50% in throwing runners out, 13 out of 26.
He's got a gun. You got to get a good jump off of Karkovice if you're going to take a base.
Patterson's breaking ball is outside, and it's 1-2 now to Don Mattingly with Alvaro Espinosa at second base.
It just kind of gets you a little bit because the Yankees having problems scoring runs, and you've got a youngster out on the mound making his first start. It's early in the ball game. He has been relieving all year long. You got your best hitter in the lineup. Yes, you want your players to be aggressive, but you've also got to take into account you got to be pretty smart too. You know that Karkovice has got an outstanding arm. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning. Here's a big inning being mounted by the Yankees, and a couple of running mistakes can just ruin the whole thing for them.
24-year-old left-hander Ken Patterson. Mattingly strokes it right field. He hit it so hard, Lee Elia has to hold Espinosa. Strong throw by Calderon. So the Yankees with runners now at first and third, and you start thinking more and more about that throw by Karkovice that nailed Sachs at third base. What a nice piece of hitting.
Well, Mattingly beginning to come on now in the hitting department. That's a low curveball, and the only way that you can hit that pitch is by staying back, and he stayed back and lined it into right field. Now Mattingly extends his hitting streak to 6 games. He's up over 300 for the first time.
Well, I guess Ken Patterson knew what he was doing when he started the game from the stretch position. He's allowed 3 straight singles.
He knew that he was going to be in the stretch position after the first batter, right?
Hey, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here with you. You're talking about Sachs' base running here in the first inning. On the other hand, you don't want to take away the aggressiveness of a Steve Sachs.
No, I'm not. Sachs is the kind of player that is aggressive, but you've got to take into account that sometimes being overly aggressive, you run yourself out of innings.
Balboni aggressive on that first pitch and pops it to first baseman Greg Walker. So Patterson got what he wanted. A pop fly, and they're 2 down. So many times this year the Yankees have had a runner at third base with less than 2 out and failed to capitalize. We're at the bottom of the first inning. There's no score in the game. There have been a lot of base runners. Ken Patterson 1 out away from working out of his early jam. Runners at the corners for Mel Hall. Foul back, and it's 0-1. Mel Hall making 2 straight starts against lefties. Last night in the starting lineup against left-hander Greg Hibbard, and this afternoon against Patterson. One and 1 the count to Hall. Of his 25 games this year, this is Patterson's first start. Unable to check the swing, and it's 1-2.
Patterson with a pretty good breaking ball and slider. One of the toughest pitches for a left-hander to hit off of a left-handed pitcher is the slider, and I'm very much aware of that. I guess it would be the toughest pitch to hit from the right side too, from a right-handed pitcher.
1-2 pitch. Missing, and it's 2-2 now to Mel Hall. Yankees have runners at first and third with 2 down. Espinosa's at third. Mattingly at first base. There's Jeff Torborg sitting with the shaded glasses. Watches the 2-2 pitch, and it's fouled at the plate.
Yeah, Jeffrey Torborg has had a lot of problems in the injury department with his pitching staff. He's had to move guys in and out. Up from Vancouver. He's got guys injured, and you can see Torborg now looking, giving instructions to Karkovice.
He sure is with the young catch. He doesn't do that with Carlton Fisk back there, but certainly with Ron Karkovice.
98% of the time, 99% of the time, Torborg, a former catcher, is going to let the catcher do what he wants to call behind the plate. But in certain circumstances, you always look over to your manager just in case he wants to flash a sign to you, or flash a sign that he wants a certain pitch thrown in a certain inning.
With the count 3-2 and 2 out, first baseman Greg Walker plays behind Don Mattingly, and now Karkovice goes out to talk this pitch over with Ken Patterson.
Torborg is really good for a young ball club such as the Chicago White Sox. He's a fundamentalist. He's a disciplinarian in such a way that he also has and regains and has gotten the respect of all the young people with the Chicago White Sox. They are just in transition right now. They started the season out without some of their big guns, mainly Carlton Fisk and Pasqua.
3-2 fastball just outside. Karkovice tried to catch Espinosa sleeping, but he stayed awake. And the Yankees have the bases full for Jesse Barfield.
Number 29.
Last night, Bobby, Barfield hit a little further up in the lineup. This afternoon, Dallas Green has Hall hitting between the two right-handers, Balboni and Barfield.
Maybe because knowing that Kenny Patterson pitching in relief the whole season, he may not be around that long, and the White Sox will be doing some switching probably early in the ball game. And I can tell you right now that if Kenny Patterson continues to throw as many pitches every inning, he won't be around very long. Very hot and humid this afternoon. Certainly he does not have that arm strength built up because he has not been starting.
1-0 pitch. Barfield pops it back our way and over our heads. 1-1. Jesse Barfield inching the average up. Right now it's at 227, but since his time with the Yankees, he's hitting 243 in the pinstripes. Breaking pitch hangs high. 2-1. The Yankees put together 3 straight singles to start this inning. A caught stealing, a pop fly. They have the bases loaded, still haven't scored. Foul back, and it's 2-2. The scheduling in the American League always amazes me. Here the White Sox making their second trip to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have yet to go to Boston or to Detroit. They will be shortly, though. 2-2 pitch. Popped out of play, and it stays 2-2.
Well, baseball is an amazing game. Played every day. You can take your pros or cons about what you like and what the team is doing, such as trades. You can always take a side, as the Yankees trading a popular player, Ricky Henderson, to the Oakland A's and getting 3 players in return. And only time will tell.
The 2-2. Another foul ball, and Barfield continues to battle.
But at least you're talking about baseball every day, every minute, every hour. All those sports talk shows on the radio and on TV.
I think it's a good point, too. Time will tell in that deal. If you get a pitcher, and obviously the Yankees tried to get a bigger name starter from the Oakland Athletics. All right, say you get a Dave Stewart or a Bob Welch, and people might not be as concerned with the deal, but with young pitchers such as Cadaret and Plunk and Luis Polonia, you have to wait a couple of years and see how things work out.
Yeah, not a blockbuster deal as far as names are concerned from the Oakland A's.
Barfield misses the fastball by Patterson. The Yankees have a ton of runners here in the first inning, but come up empty. So after 1 inning of play at Yankee Stadium, the Chicago White Sox have nothing, and so do the New York Yankees. High to left field, Bo Jackson giving chase, looking up, leaping, and it's off the wall.
Chris Berman at the ESPN Sports Center with a special message for C-Tech cable system viewers. ESPN has made a move. We've got to tell you about it. Now, the only place to look for all of the action, all of the time, is C-Tech cable system channel number 6. So remember, when you want the total sports network, all the sports action, turn to C-Tech cable system channel 6, the new home of ESPN.
First baseman Greg Walker leading things off for the White Sox. They're in the top half of the second inning, no score. I'm Tommy Hutton with Bobby Mercer. Jimmy Jones working, and the count even now to Walker, 1-1. Curveball, stroke foul.
A good effective pitch for Jimmy Jones this afternoon, if he can really get it started, is that cut fastball that he can run in on the hands of these White Sox batters. If you will notice that the left-handed batters, they stand a long ways away from the plate and they dive into the baseball. Greg Walker, Harold Baines, Danny Pasqua. Good pitch.
And Jones found that outside corner. Walker wasn't so sure he found it, but Jimmy Jones gets the strikeout, and there's one down.
Oh, that was a perfect pitch. That was a pitcher's pitch, and you certainly cannot take a pitch like this with 2 strikes on you. Look where Guerin is set up, right on the outside corner. I think that Walker probably thought it may be a little bit high. Jim McKeon didn't think it was high, though.
Veteran umpire and crew chief of this umpiring crew here at the ball game. Dan Pasqua will stand in. Dan went on the disabled list very early in the season, running into the fence, chasing down a fly ball, broke his right wrist. But the native of Yonkers, New York, back in there, and Jeff Torborg happy to see some power out of the Pasqua bat.
Well, Danny has improved a lot in his hitting, along with Walt Reniak, the new hitting instructor, but also with the brand new glasses that he's wearing. And one of the pitches that he has had problems with hitting is the curveball. You can see those glasses that Pasqua is wearing. He did not wear those with the Yankees, and he'd had problems in the outfield with the baseball. He went to the eye doctor and found out that he had a little problem with his eyes, so they corrected it with the glasses.
And you have to wonder if that problem was the reason for the differential in the day-night batting average.
I would think so.
2-1 pitch, ball 3.
Well, if you've got good eyes, you can see the ball almost any time, but better in the daytime. I always saw the ball better in the daytime. How about you, Tommy?
I would say yes. I don't know. I think at nighttime the ball in certain ballparks, there were ballparks you had a little more trouble in. If you got your rest, you saw it well.
You're just a weird guy, Tommy.
High fly out to Mel Hall, and that's out number 2. Then again, when you have a 248 career average, you don't see it very well day or night.
That's right. Our twilight.
So with 2 down, the batter is Fred Manrique. The White Sox had a couple of runners on in the first with nobody out. A hard ground ball double play off the bat of Harold Baines and a ground out by Calderon, and Jones worked out of it. And he's come back here in the second. Retired the first 2 hitters. We were talking about the difference in day and night games. Fred Manrique in day games this year has hit .417. Good pitching by Jimmy Jones, really spotting the fastball and curveball here in the second inning. Retires the White Sox 1-2-3. So after an inning and a half at Yankee Stadium, White Sox nothing and the Yankees nothing. On Friday, June 30th, and features 3 great promotion dates. As Bob Guerin steps in, we'll tell you about those dates. Sunday, on July 2nd, the Yankees host the Brewers. Milk Duds Candies Yankees Sunglasses Day. The Yankees host the Tigers on July 4th, and after the game, it'll be Citibank presenting the Beach Boys in concert. And on Thursday, July 6th, the Yankees meet the Tigers at 1 o'clock. All fans 14 and younger take home a Yankee batting helmet, compliments of Delwood. Guerin drops one down. Lyons charges, and Bob Guerin has a base hit. The throw getting by Greg Walker, but Guerin decided that was enough excitement for him. A bunt single. Second time he's done that.
And he takes advantage. Look at Lyons. Look how far he is back at third base. All you got to do is get the ball on the ground. That's exactly what he did. And Lyons makes a good play out of it, but it's just a little bit too late. Good play by Bob Guerin. Hey, just because you're a big guy, you're a catcher, and you've got power doesn't mean you always have to swing for the fences.
So the Yankees pick up their 4th hit in the ball game, all singles. And we have a 0-0 tie. Tom Brookins getting another start against the left-hander. And he is certainly glad to see left-handers out there. He's 0 for 23 against right-handed pitching this year. The 0-1 pitch. Ball 1. Oh, we mentioned earlier, making room for new Yankees, Eric Plunk, Greg Cadaret with the departure of Ricky Henderson, Luis Polonia. Yankees announced a couple of moves prior to this ball game.
Yeah, left-handed pitcher Chuck Carey was placed on the 21-day disabled list. He's got a bad back, sprain in his back, so they put him on the DL, and to make room for the other guy, Dotson, Rich Dotson, was put on waivers in order to give him his release. So Dotson released, and Chuck Carey put on the 21-day DL.
There goes Guerin on the pitch to Brookins. A perfect hit-and-run base hit, and it might be extra bases. Brookins going to second. Guerin will be held at third. So the veteran right-handed hitter, Tom Brookins, knew he had to make contact with Guerin, a catcher, going on the pitch. He made contact and got it between Walker and the line. Ends up with a double.
Well, Bob Guerin, he took off and he lost sight of the baseball too. Otherwise, I think Bob Guerin could have scored on his inside-out liner just in between the first base bag and Greg Walker, all the way down in the right field corner. But when he got to second base, he just kind of looked around like, well, where the heck is the baseball at? I can't imagine these runners not picking up the baseball when they take off on a hit and run.
And number 2, if you don't pick up the baseball, hey, pick up your third base coach. So the Yankees threaten again. Runners at second and third. Nobody out for Roberto Kelly. Up high, ball 1. You were mentioning Chuck Carey being placed on the disabled list. He took one for the team and started a ball game for the Yankees and pitched well. He pitched 5 good innings, and he has been a little sore since then.
Pitched himself on the DL is what you mean.
He pitched 5 innings, gave up just 2 hits to the Baltimore Orioles. Yankees won that game 2-1 in Baltimore on a foggy night at Memorial Stadium. 2-0 pitch. Ball 3. Roberto Kelly up there in an ideal situation. Nobody out, infield back. And Roberto is 4 for 8 in this series. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Overall, Kelly hitting .313. A home run last night, his 3rd of the year.
If Patterson keeps this up, don't look for him to be around very much longer.
And he misses ball 4. So the Yankees once again get the bases loaded, this time with nobody out. So far in 1+ innings, Ken Patterson has allowed 5 hits, and he's walked 2, and the score is still 0-0. But he is walking certainly on some thin ice, and there's no activity in the White Sox bullpen.
Well, that may be the case, but also Kenny Patterson has been relieving for the White Sox since being recalled, so his arm strength is not there. Sammy Ellis, the pitching coach, out to talk to Kenny Patterson. He may have seen something in his mechanics. Sammy, mechanics man. Patterson missing up high, so you would think that probably that he's opening up his shoulders a little bit too soon and dragging his arm underneath him, which will cause you to throw the ball up high in the strike zone.
Well, it'll be Steve Sachs standing in with the Sachs full. This pitching staff for the White Sox has certainly changed since the beginning of the year. Melito Perez is still in the rotation. Jerry Royce is back in. Sachs fouls it back, and it's 0-1. But you look at some of the youngsters. Adam Peterson has started. Greg Hibbert last night. Steve Rosenberg. And Ken Patterson here this afternoon. Sachs 1 for 1 today. Batting .315.
Well, pitching is the name of the game. If you don't have pitching, you don't have a winner. And the White Sox with the worst record in all of baseball. They have a record of 27-44 coming into today's ball game, but last in the American League in pitching with a 4.92 earned run average, along with being second to last in club fielding. Now, if you put pitching and fielding together like that, you're going to end up with the worst record in baseball.
0-2 is popped in the air, so Patterson makes the pitch he wants. Walker makes the catch, and the bases are still loaded. And Sachs completely disgusted with that at bat, throwing his bat down, firing his helmet onto the ground, and taking care of things in the Yankee dugout. 1 down. So it'll be up to Alvaro Espinosa standing in. Espinosa had a bloop base hit in the first. Espinosa on the year batting .264, but almost 100 points better against lefties. And he sends one into the left center field gap. Pasqua moving over. He's got it. But it's deep enough for Guerin to come in and score. And tagging and going to third is Brookins. So Espinosa drills one into left center field, but Pasqua moved over in a hurry to put it away for a sacrifice fly, and they're 2 down.
Manny Pasqua does not always get a lot of credit for playing the outfield, but he's a deceptive outfielder. He's got good speed, and he's got a good arm, and he actually just catches up with this ball. It looked like it was going to be for extra bases, but somehow Manny Pasqua got there to make the catch. Well, that saved the White Sox and Kenny Patterson a lot of runs.
That clears the bases if it gets by Pasqua. The Yankees do score 1 and lead 1-0. Don Mattingly, the hitter. Mattingly hitting .300. Been a while. Been all year since we've been able to say that. And able to reach that .300 mark with a base hit in the first inning. One and one now to the Yankee first baseman.
Tommy, I mentioned that the White Sox had the worst record in all of baseball. I meant in the American League. The Phillies have the worst record as far as win and loss percentage is concerned, with a 23-43 record.
Foul back, and in this crazy game of baseball, Phillies with the worst record in baseball extended the contract of their first-year manager Nick Leyva through the 1990 season.
That's security.
Figure it out. Talked to Lee Elia about that, former Philly manager. He said, why didn't they do that when I was there? 1-2, Mattingly sends it deep right field. That's for Calderon. Mattingly with a 3-run shot. And the Yankees take the lead 4-0.
Breaking out of it, boy, and I'll tell you what, that will bring the fans here at Yankee Stadium to their feet, and that will also bring Dallas Green to the upper step in the dugout. I'll tell you what, he's happy to see Don Mattingly getting back on track, and Kenny Patterson. You don't mess around with Don Mattingly no matter what the count is, especially when Mattingly is on a hitting streak, and that was a 1-2 pitch that Mattingly sent into the right field stands.
It was a time in the game, too, when the Yankees kept waiting and waiting for that big hit. Mattingly just supplied it. 4-0. Here's Balboni. Ball 1.
Take a look at this 3-run home run by Mattingly up in the strike zone.
Fouled off by Balboni. Looked like Patterson either tried to sneak the fastball by Mattingly upstairs or threw a slider that just hung and didn't break much.
Yeah, it looked like a fastball he was trying to get up and away.
And Mattingly put it up and away into the right field seats.
Mattingly a much better low ball hitter than he is a high ball hitter.
You know, Don Mattingly is quietly sneaking toward the leaders in the American League as far as RBIs are concerned. Mattingly now has 48. Ruben Sierra and Julio Franco with the Texas Rangers lead with 57.
And Donnie Mattingly taking advantage of the friendly confines of Yankee Stadium. All 9 of his home runs have come right here at Yankee Stadium. Old home week.
Well, the Yankees leave home for a while after this ball game. They travel to Kansas City for a 3-game series against the Royals over the weekend. Have Monday off in Detroit. And then play the Tigers 3 at Tiger Stadium.
And we will broadcast the game from Detroit on Wednesday.
And have the Sunday game in Kansas City.
The Sunday game in Kansas City is right.
2-2 to Balboni. Popped out of play.
You will be there, right, MKC?
I'll be there.
All right.
How about you?
I'll be there, too. I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world. Absolutely nothing. Not even a Beach Boys concert.
That home run by Don Mattingly, also his 150th career long ball. Ball 3 to Balboni. It's 3-2. Yankees with a 4-0 lead here in the second inning. 2 out, nobody on base.
Well, bye-bye. He is just missing some of those fastballs, just getting underneath it a bit.
I was going to say, if he had put that one in play, it would have been 5-0. He had that kind of swing. Another 3-2. He goes after the high fastball, upset with himself, but Patterson gets a strikeout, and that does it for the Yankees in the second. But Mattingly comes through with a key base hit, a 3-run home run, and after 2 innings here at Yankee Stadium, 4-0 Yankees. MSG Network tonight at 11:35 for Sports Forum with host Bob Page. Bob's guest will be Baltimore Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. And that's Sports Forum tonight at 11:35 on MSG Network. Stepping in, Ozzie Guillen for the White Sox here in the third, with the Yankees on top 4-0.
Well, something unusual for Ozzie Guillen taking a first pitch. He's normally up there hacking a free swinger, and he will swing at anything close to the plate.
He goes after the 0-1.
Couldn't take it.
A lot of room for Mel Hall in left field, and he puts it down for 1 out.
And the reason for Ozzie Guillen hitting around the 8th and 9th position in the White Sox order is because he just doesn't have enough patience to hit in the leadoff spot. They tried it at the first part of the year. It looked like it was going to be good and work out for the White Sox and Ozzie, but he just got a little bit too anxious up there.
moving up in the order. Ozzie with Ron Karkovice hitting number 9 today. Karkovice takes a strike. Karkovice, seeing what Bob Guerin did last inning, tries it, fouls it off. 0-2. Now, speaking of the Baltimore Orioles, with Cal Ripken Jr. chatting with Bob Page tonight on Sports Forum, realize the Orioles, with their win on the West Coast last night, it was their 20th on the road. That's as many as they won all last year on the road. Jones gets Karkovice to chase the curveball, and they're 2 down. And for Jimmy Jones, that's strikeout number 3.
Well, speaking of the Orioles, they are blowing everybody out in the Eastern Division. Good curveball by Jimmy Jones. And a nice stop by Bob Guerin. Karkovice needs about a 10-foot pole in order to make contact with that one. And the Blue Jays have moved up into the 2nd spot in the American League East.
First pitch to Dave Gallagher, called strike.
But 7 games back, the Blue Jays are. The Yankees come into this ball game 7.5 games back. It's a long year.
Jimmy Jones has settled down after a double play pulled him out of a jam in the first inning. First 2 hitters reach base. Then Baines hit into a hard 4-6-3 double play. Gallagher strokes his second base hit of the afternoon. He's 2 for 2. So the stride tutor is working for Dave Gallagher. We've talked about his invention that helps hitters cut down on a long stride. And he's 2 for 2 this afternoon. He's closing in on the 300 mark. With 2 out, here's Steve Lyons. Lyons trying to drag bunt, gets it by Jones and puts it in a perfect spot. Mattingly with no play at second. And if you're trying a drag bunt as a left-handed hitter, that's the way you want to do it. You want to get it by the pitcher and head it out towards second base and get it a little bit to the right of the first baseman. Lyons put it right in that direction.
A lot of times you pick out a spot on the infield, and that's that little cutout spot that's got a little corner on it around the first base area. That way you get the pitcher and the first baseman converging, and you've got nobody covering first base. Exactly what Lyons did. Perfect perfect drag bunt for Lyons.
And all he was trying to do was reach base, set things up for Baines, and then Calderon to follow. Pitch is missed by Harold Baines, and it's 0-1. Yankees lead 4-0. 3rd inning, 2 out, runners at first and second.
I don't think that is a real good percentage play for Steve Lyons to be pulling off with 2 outs to get Harold Baines to the plate, but it worked out for him that time. I would rather see my second place hitter swing away unless they're just giving me a big old hole someplace.
Espinosa started to go to the bag, and the ball gets by him. Here comes the runner in to score from second. Dave Gallagher. Lyons goes to third. For some reason, Espinosa, as that pitch was being made, took a couple of steps towards second, and because of that, the ball that Baines hit was able to get by his right.
Somebody missed the sign. I don't know if it was Espinosa, if it was Jimmy Jones or Bob Guerin, but somebody missed a pickoff sign. When Jimmy Jones delivers the ball, Espinosa was moving towards second base. He's out of position right now. He thought that Jimmy Jones was going to turn wheel and throw back to second to pick the runner off. And Jimmy Jones delivered the ball to first base, to the plate, which caught Espinosa out of position.
And alertly, Steve Lyons moved over to third. So the White Sox get on the scoreboard. Calderon with a 2-hopper, sacks with the play. After 2 out, the White Sox put together 3 straight singles and pick up a run. 2.5 innings have been played here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees lead the White Sox 4-1.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Cataray and Eric Plunk, the Yankees need pitching, and obviously they got 2 young pitchers that they are counting on.
Mel Hall with a shot, but right to Fred Manrique. 1 down.
Well, Mel finally
really got a pitch that he could drive off the left-hander, and he just happened to hit it right at somebody, the old Adam ball. It really disgusts you when you're a left-handed batter. You finally get an opportunity to play against left-handed pitching.
Jesse Barfield steps in. Foul ball, and it's 0-1. Barfield struck out in the first inning. The right-hander warming up for Chicago, Adam Peterson. Sounds like he should be an actor. Now starring Adam Peterson. Barfield stars. Line shot, base hit to left field.
You're talking about the guy in the bullpen that was warming up, Adam Peterson?
Yeah.
What kind of movie? There's Adam. What kind of movie would you cast him in?
I could cast him in a soap opera, I think. I can picture that name more in a daytime soap.
General Hospital or Santa Barbara. Are you a soap guy?
No, I'm not. Please don't categorize me as that. I have more to do in my afternoons especially this afternoon.
Sure, you do. You lie out on the beach and gather some sun, and
we may see Adam Peterson as Jeff Dorborg goes to the mound. You were talking about Jeff earlier, and an outstanding defensive major league catcher. Jeff caught 3 no-hitters. Sandy Koufax, Bill Singer, and Nolan Ryan. And right now he wishes he had Sandy Koufax, Bill Singer, or Nolan Ryan.
Well, he may have one of those guys in some of these young arms, but they have yet to develop for Jeffrey. As you see, Peterson will run in from the left center field bullpen with the White Sox warm up. But I'll tell you what, he's had a lot of problems with the injuries, such as everybody else, and he's just got to move them in and out and find out who in the heck can handle the job. Well, with Peterson running in from the bullpen, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Well, the new pitcher for the White Sox early in the ball game here in the bottom of the third, Adam Peterson, making his third appearance. And only 2 2/3 innings pitched, but he has given up a lot of hits, 10 base hits. Normally a starter, but pitching in long relief. Now the White Sox bullpen last year at Vancouver. He started 28 ball games, ended up with a record of 14-7, and got an opportunity to pitch a couple of times with the White Sox late 1988.
All right, Peterson will be working to Bob Guerin. Yankees lead 4-1. 1 down, Barfield at first base. Guerin misses the first pitch, so it's Patterson to Peterson as the right-hander relieves the left-hander. Bob Guerin had a bunt single in the second inning, got things going. Scored on a sacrifice fly by Espinosa. And Bob Guerin has filled in very well for Dallas Green, hitting .364, has 3 home runs.
Bobby getting an opportunity after spending 10 years in the minor leagues to make his mark here on the major league level. He certainly does not want to let this opportunity get away from him.
0-2 is by Guerin, and he's probably unhappy to see Patterson leave and face the right-hander. He had caught Ken Patterson in 1987 when they both played for Albany in the Yankees organization.
Well, he's probably sorry to see him go because he was left-handed. I know I would be.
So Peterson gets the strikeout. That's out number 2. And now Tom Brookins, who doubled in the second inning, is the batter. And keep in mind, Brookins has been platooned for the most part, but he has had 23 at-bats against right-handers. And he's 0 for 23. Fouled off, and it's 1-1. Brookins pulled off a nice hit and run in the second inning with Guerin running from first base. Brookins with an inside-out swing sent a hard ground ball past Greg Walker, the first baseman, just in fair territory. This time he picks up a base hit off a right-hander, bloops it into left field. Barfield goes to third, and Tom Brookins is 2 for 2. Yankees at the corners with 2 down.
Center fielder Roberto Kelly.
Off the end of the bat, Tom Brookins puts it in a nice placement in the left center field section here at Yankee Stadium. And a hot hitter, Roberto Kelly, coming to the plate.
Roberto walked and scored on Mattingly's 3-run homer. That was in the second inning. Roberto with a home run and 4 base hits in this series. Going outside with a fastball, and it's 1-0. There's a strike to even the count. Well, the White Sox go to Milwaukee after this weekday afternoon contest, and as I mentioned, the Yankees travel on to Kansas City. Roberto sends one high, but not very deep to right field. In comes Calderon, and he makes the catch, and that does it for the Yankees. So Peterson comes on and gets out of a little jam and helps out Ken Patterson. So 3 innings have been played. The Yankees against the White Sox lead 4-1. Back at Yankee Stadium as we go to the 4th, the Yankees lead 4-1, and this is how the scoring is gone. Espinosa with a sacrifice fly in the second inning. Then Mattingly's 3-run shot made it 4-0 Yankees. Harold Baines had a base hit to drive home the White Sox run. And in the 4th for Chicago, Walker, Pasqua, and Manrique to face Jimmy Jones. Walker, first time up, was called out on strikes, and it was a perfect pitch, making his 33rd start at first base. Ron Kittle had settled into that position. One of the main reasons is because he was hitting well and driving in runs for Chicago. Walker chops it to Mattingly, and the easy flip on to Jimmy Jones for 1 down. Ron Kittle, who's on the disabled list with the White Sox because of back problems, in 51 ball games was hitting .302, had 11 home runs and 37 RBI. Dan Pasqua, the hitter now for the White Sox.
You know, you talk about now the Yankee pitching with the addition of Cadaret and Plunk. Plunk making his 2nd trip to the Yankees. He was here once early in his career and was traded for Ricky Henderson and went over to Oakland and comes back to the Yankees. But now the Yankees, you take a look at their combination of their pitcher's age is around 27 years. And that's pretty young for a Yankee pitching staff, considering what they had last year compared to what they have here this year. They've got some young pitchers. Clay Parker, who is only 26, but he's on the DL right now. Cadaret, 27 years old. Eric Plunk, 25.
Pasqua reaches out and strokes it into right field for a single.
You got Jimmy Jones, who is 25 years old. Dave Island, who Billy Cotter really likes this young man. Dave Island only 22. Andy Hawkins 29. Righetti, one of the older guys, at 30, and Guterman at 30 years of age. Mahorsic, the oldest, at 33.
I mentioned Clay Parker, who is due to come off the disabled list, I believe, Sunday. Rich Dotson was scheduled to be the Yankee starter. If you just joined us, Dotson has been released. Fred Manrique takes a breaking ball high, ball 1.
So the Yankees kind of making a transition in the organization. Sid Frith, the man in charge of making the trades, has said that, along with George Steinbrenner, that they were going to go more for youth right now. And now they're putting some youth into this Yankee organization and on the roster. They didn't do it with the older guys, so let's just turn it around and try the youth, see what they can do. But you can't do it without young arms.
The youth of Jimmy Jones gets the count 1-2, as you mentioned. Jimmy, 25 years of age. And he'll certainly remember his first major league ball game. He won his major league debut against the Houston Astros, and all he did was pitch a one-hitter. And the base hit by his opposing mound mate, Bob Nepper, left-handed pitcher with the Astros. Fastball high, and it's 2-2. Jimmy Jones, born and lives in Dallas, Texas. And you're right, he's a Cowboys fan.
Still, there's another Jones down in Dallas. Jerry Jones, who took over the Dallas Cowboys.
Chopped to short by Manrique. The flip to Sachs. And the throw a little wide. The Yankees get the force on Pasqua at second base for the second out of the inning, but Sachs' relay on to Mattingly pulled him off the bag.
Little shovel by Espinosa at shortstop, and Sachs was just a little bit off target as he tried to relay back to Mattingly.
All right, get everything in you want to say now before Ozzie Guillen steps in.
You don't have enough time.
Ozzie fly to left in the third inning. I believe he hit the second pitch.
He took one for some reason or another. I don't know what happened to him. I guess he had a brain cramp or something.
He goes after the first pitch. There you go. Ground ball to second.
He's back on track.
And that does it for the White Sox. They're out in the fourth. They get a base hit and leave one. And we go to the bottom of the fourth inning with the Yankees leading the White Sox 4-1. Tommy Hutton has some ominous clouds peer over Yankee Stadium, looking on to the Yankees and White Sox, with the Yankees leading 4-1. And let's just hope those clouds stay right where they are.
Those are called tornado clouds.
Well, I guess coming from Oklahoma, you would know a thing or two about tornadoes.
Well, you see those kind of clouds in the sky in Oklahoma, and you head directly for the storm cellar or the nearby closet.
Steve Sachs leads it off. Sachs is 1 for 2. Misses the breaking pitch by Adam Peterson. Strike one. Yankees 4 runs and 8 hits. White Sox a run on 5 base hits. Up high with a slider, and it's 1-1. So far this afternoon for the Yankees, the big blast, the 3-run home run by Don Mattingly in the second inning. Ball 2 to Sachs. Ken Patterson went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 runs, had 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. He gave way to Adam Peterson with 1 down in the third. Poke to right field down the line. Calderon moving near the line and can't get to it. He tried to la-di-da that ball that was slicing away from him, and he pays for it. Calderon just casually went over instead of getting to the ball in a hurry, and the ball sliced away.
Well, it gets pretty tight down the right field corner. There's not a whole lot of room between the foul line and the stands. And as you run towards the foul line, the stands obviously come closer and closer. And you can see Calderon, I think that he had eyes, about half of his eyes, or one eye was on the stands and the other eye was trying to catch the baseball. That's 2 eyes, right?
He started to pull up even before he got to the warning track, and Sachs gets a double out of him. Espinosa will try to move him to third. Going the other way on an inside fastball, and it's 0-1. So Sachs, the recipient of that play by Ivan Calderon. Steve Sachs now 2 for 3. Espinosa decides to push one, and it's perfect. Walker with the tag, and Sachs goes to third. Well, if you can't do it swinging, you do it with the bunt. That's what Espinosa did.
Absolutely. You won't see a lot of guys do that because they think that they have to swing the bat. But Espinosa, with the right-hander out on the mound, he felt like that he was more comfortable by just bunting the ball down the right field line. He took a shot with the bat on the first strike, and he gets the job done. All he has to do is get the ball on the ground. Nice job by Alvaro Espinosa. We haven't seen much of that. But it brings up Don Mattingly with a man on third base and less than 2 outs. Some people say, well, Mattingly, now that Henderson is gone, will not get the opportunity to drive in as many runs, because he used to drive Henderson in when those two guys were hot about half of the time, or more than half of the time.
Well, now he'll just have to drive Steve Sachs in.
Well, if Sachs and Espinosa continue to execute like they have the first 2 ball games, tell you what, he'll be have an opportunity to drive them in a lot more than Henderson. I'd be over there patting Espinosa.
That's a nice job.
Oh, you bet. What a great job. Keep it up.
You got that right. One hopper. Sachs thought about coming home, and Mattingly, well, he thinks about coming home too. Sachs started to take off, and I think he might have been going on contact, but as soon as he saw the ball quickly get to Greg Walker, he pulled up and went back to third. Mattingly fires his helmet down, and anytime a hitter who is an RBI man fails to get that run in from third with less than 2 out.
Well, the helmet, I think, went up into the stands, and Donnie was trying to fire it down into the dugout, and it bounced up into the stands. But
yeah, but at least he didn't do what Bo Jackson did last night. Did you read about what Bo did?
Broke the bat over his head.
Over his head. I mean, I've seen a couple of hitters. Bo did it once. Chili Davis has done it. Ken Phelps is going to pinch hit here, break the bat over their thigh as they go back. But Bo was upset after hitting one back to the mound in the ball game last night, and he went back to the dugout, broke the bat over his head.
Why, is that hard?
What, the bat or his head? Or if he had his helmet on.
I sure hope so.
Okay. Boy. Ken Phelps pinch hitting for Steve Balboni. Balboni leaves, having gone 0 for 2.
Well, we're going to get an opportunity to see Bo Jackson on Sunday.
What a year he's having. 17 home runs. He's on the same pace that Jose Canseco was on last year for the 40-40 club. Foul back by Phelps, and it's 0-1. Bo Jackson with 17 home runs, tied with Mickey Tettleton for the American League lead. And Bo has 20 stolen bases.
I don't like the way the light is disappearing here at Yankee Stadium with the clouds rolling in. The Yankees have to get past the 5th inning with the lead, or past the let the White Sox bat in the top of the 5th inning to force an official ball game.
Yankees with a 4-1 lead, 4 runs on 9 hits. Chicago a run on 5 hits. So the count to Ken Phelps is 2-1, who has done a good job coming off the bench for the Yankees. He would like to be in there a little bit more, but he leads the American League with 6 pinch hit RBIs. And now he has 8. A shot to deep right field, and it's gone. Ken Phelps coming off the bench with a pinch hit home run, and the Yankees make it a 6-1 lead.
The thing for the Yankees this afternoon, a 3-run shot by Mattingly in the second, now a 2-run shot by Kenny Phelps. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, a pinch hit home run for Ken Phelps, and he does that quite often. And the Peterson fastball right down Broadway, and it ended up around the LIR, just past right field.
Mel Hall steps in. What a play by Walker. Can he make it? And he makes it complete. Throwing from his backside to retire Mel Hall, who tried to sneak one by Greg Walker. But the Yankees strike on the pinch hit home run by Ken Phelps. Score a couple. It's 6-1 Yankees lead as we come back for the 5th inning. Greg Gumbel will be in with the play-by-play along with Bobby Mercer.
Top of the 5th inning, the Yankees leading at 6-1, and the top of the 5th inning means Greg Gumbel.
Thank you, Robert. It is getting dark out here, isn't it?
Sure is.
Jimmy Jones hoping to get at least 3 outs in a hurry here in the event the rain should begin to fall. Ron Karkovice leads it off, has fouled one away, and now takes ball 1 up high. Karkovice, strikeout victim in the 3rd inning. His 2nd trip to the plate, and this one just barely foul past 3rd, and it's 1-2.
The only pitch that the White Sox are really connecting with off of Jimmy Jones right now is that little slow curveball. He's hanging it up in the strike zone, and it's so slow that it's allowing these batters to react to it. He was getting all the right-handed batters out with that little quick curveball, that slider, and a little cut fastball.
1-2 pitch. This one hit in the air right side. Mattingly will give chase near the stands and can't reach it.
Well, the reason he couldn't get to it was because there was about 4 or 5 fans in the way down there. He had a collision with one of the fans on that side. The fan obviously wants a chance for his souvenir. Now get out of the way. I'm trying to catch a ball. There you go. That poor guy, he's just an innocent bystander.
There's a drive down the left field line. Fair ball. Mel Hall will play the role in the corner and come up throwing in toward 3rd as Karkovice doubles to left. Sixth hit of the day for the White Sox. And with a runner at 2nd and nobody out, we go to the top of the order. Dave Gallagher, who has singled twice. Yankees with a 6-1 lead. And Jones serves up ball 1. Dave Gallagher going 2 for 2 has upped his average to an even 300 this afternoon. And looks at strike 1.
Gallagher had signed with the White Sox as a free agent last year. In fact, he was out of baseball. He was not going to play anymore, and then he finally decided to take one more shot, asked the Sox to give him an opportunity, and guess what? Here he is. He's the kind of guy that really gives you a 100% effort. He's got an idea about how to play the game. He's an excellent outfielder, and he hustles.
Guess what else? It has begun to sprinkle.
Well, Jimmy Jones will just have to start throwing strikes quickly.
I think Bob Guerin has gone out to remind him. This is not yet a complete game. 3-1 the count. A couple of umbrellas have popped up. Dallas Green would like to see 3 quick out hits. There's a line drive over Steve Sax's head into right field. Karkovice had the hole to make sure that the ball wasn't caught. He advances only to 3rd. Gallagher with his 3rd straight hit, and the White Sox with runners at the corners and nobody out.
A lot of times you will lose your concentration when you're out in front 6-1. You got a pretty good lead. You have to really buckle your belt up tighter in order to get your concentration on the same level, because you know you've got the big lead. You got a little bit of room to mess around with it. It's a little bit different pitching when you've got the big lead, and when you're pitching in a tight ball game, say the score is tied, or you're 1 run up or 1 run down.
Here's Steve Lyons, who's been on base twice with a walk and a single, and he fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. I'll tell you one thing, if it rains here, and it rains heavily, it can't get more humid than it was when we began this afternoon.
Well, it could, but it won't.
Jones checking Gallagher at first. Gallagher on at first with a single. Karkovice led this inning with a double, moved to 3rd on the hit by Gallagher. And the White Sox with something brewing here and nobody out. Off speed. Lyons didn't get it, and it's 0-2.
Good changeup by Jimmy Jones.
Three new faces in Yankee uniforms here this afternoon. Eric Plunk, Greg Cadaret, Luis Polonia all arrived about 7:30 this morning. 0-2 to Lyons. Misses up high, 1-2.
And maybe napping just a bit right now, but maybe not. because this is probably the time that Dallas Green would use one of those two pitchers that arrived early this morning on the red eye.
Ground ball, foul, just barely foul past the bag at first. And it's still 1-2. Talked with all three of them, and nobody slept last night.
Now, Eric Plunk told me that he went directly from the airport to the hotel and just kind of threw some water on his face to wake up. I said, well, what's the big deal? I said, you got that nice restful sleep on the plane last night, just barely foul by Mattingly. He looked at me like I was crazy. I can't sleep on a plane flying all night long. I used to hate to do that. Still do.
1-2 pitch to Lyons. Outside, 2-2. The rain begins to fall a little harder, and those without umbrellas begin to take cover under the stand.
What a half an inning for Jimmy Jones to have problems, control problems. Could have been a 1-2-3 inning, an official ball game, and if it rains, so what? The Yankees win 6-1.
Ground ball, base hit. Right field, 1 run in. Gallagher holds at second. 3 straight hits to lead off the 5th inning here for the White Sox, and it's 6-2.
Well, the bullpen is stirring around, and they are taking the tarpaulin. That's Greg Cadaret. So he is awake and ready to go, and he will start warming up in the Yankee bullpen.
He may not have a tired arm, but the rest of him is pretty well whipped. Told us before the game he was glad that Eric Plunk was included in the deal because he'd have somebody to talk to on the flight.
On the plane. And you can see that the old headlines of Ricky Henderson.
Ricky's still in the news.
Is still in the news, but used in a different capacity.
Here's Harold Baines. Ball strike. Back in 1977, the #1 pick by the White Sox in the free agent draft. It was a project of late White Sox owner Bill Veeck. Saw him play in high school and said, I'm going to get him no matter what it takes. Baines cuts and misses, and it's 0-2. Rain continues to fall, not heavily, but steadily. We'll get as many adjectives as we can in here before it starts to rain.
Is that what that is?
0-2. Guerin sets up outside, and Jones waits it outside. 1-2.
I'll tell you what, it is definitely a lot cooler now that it is raining or sprinkling a little bit. The humidity has subsided a bit.
And Darrell Boston has moved into the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Ivan Calderon. Baines fouls it back, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Jimmy Jones, he's got to get through this lineup to be the man of record. He got a 6-2 lead right now, but he is having all kinds of problems getting the White Sox out.
1-2 to a dangerous hitter. Outside, 2-2. I've had outfielders tell me, Bobby, that it gets lonely out there in the outfield, standing out there by yourself, pitch after pitch after pitch. It must be even worse when it starts to rain.
It's a lonely and thankless job when you play the outfield, and the applause is really your only reward a lot of times. That and a couple of $1 million. But I mean, you know, today's game, you got your Walkman on, and you're out there enjoying some music, or maybe you tuned into the ball game, and you can see Roberto is relaxed. Wake up, Roberto.
2-2 outside, and the count goes full to Harold Baines. Brought your Walkman out there, did you?
Well, I didn't. See, they didn't have Walkmans back in the day when I played the outfield.
You had the full stereo out.
I had the what they call the boom box.
Full count pitch. Grounded down to second. Sacks to second base for 1, and that's all the Yankees will get. Baines is on with a fielder's choice. Lyons erased on the force at second, and that's out number 1. And here's Darryl Boston.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, batting count roll, number 8, Darryl Boston.
Boston steps in with a .209 average. 1 home run and 6 runs batted in. And another young outfielder with all kinds of promise. This one hits center field. Kelly on his horse. Watches it go out. Number 2 of the season for Darryl Boston. 3 more runs on the board for the White Sox, and it's 6-5 Yankees.
Well, before you can even take a breath, the White Sox are back in this ball game. Darryl Boston, they have been waiting for this youngster to explode. He's got a lot of talent. He's got power, as we just saw right there. He's only 26 years old, and he notched a career-high 15 home runs last year for the Sox, and being platooned this year, Dallas Green is out of the dugout, and I mean the nails just came loose from Jimmy Jones here in the 5th inning. Watch the curveball. It's that slow curveball that he's been getting hurt on. We were talking about it earlier, and it just kind of hangs up in the strike zone. It's got to be a little bit harder, a little bit slower than that. It's got to have a little bit more break to it before that pitch can be effective.
Well, pinch home runs have suddenly come into fashion here at Yankee Stadium this afternoon. Ken Phelps delivered one in the last of the 4th. Darryl Boston with one for Chicago here in the top of the 5th. And Jimmy Jones will not get a decision here this afternoon.
Well, we're going to see a brand new Yankee who just arrived early this morning. Greg Cadaret will be coming on. Cadaret only 27 years old, and he will try to put out the fire here in the 5th inning, as Jimmy Jones was really cruising right along until the top of the 5th inning. The Yankees were leading at 6-1, and all of a sudden now it's 6-5. But Cadaret is going to take his warm-up tosses, and while he does that, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. You can see he's already been into 26 ball games for the Oakland A's. He gets plenty of work. 27 2/3 innings pitched, 21 hits, and he will be facing left-handed batter Greg Walker here in the top of the 5th inning.
Walker at 0 for 2. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it past third. The line on Jimmy Jones, 4 1/3 innings. Gave up 5 runs, all earned, 9 hits, walked 1, struck out 3.
Cadaret was used mostly as a setup man for Dennis Eckersley, just like everybody else in the bullpen for the Oakland A's. Tony La Russa is the kind of manager that did not stay with his pitchers too long. In fact, he would use a pitcher just for one batter a lot of times, just to try to snuff out a big inning on the opposite side. Cadaret has got a good live arm, and he is extremely tough on left-handed batters.
Ball on a strike here to Greg Walker with 1 out. This one bounced down to Sachs at second, and that's out number 2.
Cadaret is 6'3", 205 pounds. As I mentioned, he's 27 years old. He was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Stan Pasqua with 2 out and nobody on now. Ron Karkovice began all of this with a 2-base hit. Dave Gallagher singled in the 3rd. Steve Lyons got an RBI single. Harold Baines bounced into a force out. And then Darryl Boston pinch hitting for Ivan Calderon. Hit a 3-run homer.
That's the killer pitch from the left side. That slider breaking down and away on the left-handed batter. And then you get to looking for that. He'll feature that good live fastball on the inside corner. He's got an idea of what he wants to do.
Pasqua chops it up the 3rd baseline foul and is in the hole at 0-2.
I think with the acquisition, Greg, of Cadaret and Eric Plunk obviously gives Dallas Green a lot more flexibility in his pitching, whether it be in the starting or whether it be in the bullpen.
You're pretty sure one of those lefties in the bullpen will come into the starting rotation?
Well, I would think so. We'll just have to wait and see. but it gives him flexibility. Say if somebody like Jimmy Jones goes on a bad streak, he's got flexibility to move somebody in that position to spot start them, maybe for 1 or 2 if he's got somebody hot in the bullpen. The Yankees cannot afford to fall too much further behind.
Dan Pasqua looks at strike 3 called, so Catteray comes in, retires the too many faces. And that's the end of the top of the 5th inning. Chicago scores 4 times, and at the end of 4 1/2, it's 6-5 Yankees. Has now moved into left field, and Dan Pasqua has moved from left field to right field as Ivan Calderon is finished for the day.
And Danny Pasqua with those brand new glasses having a little problem because of the drizzle, the slight mist here at Yankee Stadium.
So this game is now official as Jesse Barfield steps in and cuts and fouls it back, and the lights have come on here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees with 4 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, highlighted by Don Mattingly's 9th home run of the year. White Sox got 1 in the 3rd. Yankees with 2 in the 4th on Ken Phelps' pinch home run. And then the White Sox coming back with 4 in the top of the 5th inning.
Now the White Sox within 1 run of tying this game. They've got activity in their bullpen, so I'm not sure that Jeff Torborg wants to let this get away from him. If Peterson starts to have some problems, he may be right in that bullpen quickly.
Talking with Jeff Torborg last night, he was our post-game guest. Says he's enjoying his stay, but he's used to the old White Sox caps. He says he'd sure like to change the way those caps look. He's not much of a position to make any demands right now. Count goes to 3-1 on Jesse Barfield. You may have heard that. Ivan Calderon, sore chest. The reason he is out of the game, and Barfield pops it up right side. Greg Walker. It's a long time for this one to come down and make the catch.
Catcher, Bob Guerin.
Here's Bob Guerin, who is 1 for 2, and he steps in to face Adam Peterson. Ken Patterson started today's game for the White Sox. Peterson came on in the 3rd inning.
Well, Karkovice just signaled to Lyons down there. I think Lyons was really playing a cat and mouse game with Bobby Guerin, who Guerin bunted on Lyons back in the 1st or 2nd inning, first time up.
Foul back behind the plate.
There you see Lyons. Believe me, he's aware of Bobby Guerin maybe putting one down, but Karkovice, before Peterson threw the first pitch, he reminded Lyons at 3rd, hey, this guy may lay one down, be alive.
Bob Guerin qualifies one of those cases where you hate to see that work because he thinks he can do it all the time now.
No, he just took his shot. I mean, you get a guy way back, as Lyons was, back in the 2nd inning. All you got to do is get the ball on the ground. Base hit. Take a base hit anytime.
0-2 the count to Bob Guerin. By the way, I saw you light up like a lamppost when you heard about that Beach Boys concert.
Yes, sir. Boy, I'll tell you what, Beach Boys.
4th of July, Beach Boys will be performing here.
I think they perform everywhere. You're having a bar mitzvah? Let's call the Beach Boys in for a concert.
Guerin goes fishing. And for the 2nd time this afternoon goes down swinging.
Bobby may have to try another bunt or 2.
It's the only way Bob Guerin's been successful at the plate so far, with a bunt single back in the 2nd inning. And here's Tom Brookins with a double and a single in 2 trips to the plate.
You're a big Beach Boy fan, aren't you? Or not? No, you're more Rolling Stones.
Yeah, those are 2 slightly different groups.
You're not a Beach Boy fan?
Actually, yeah, they're not bad in concert.
What's their new song? Kokomo.
That's right.
Kokomo what? Joe. Kokomo Joe?
I think it's way down in Kokomo.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not that new.
Oh, it's not? Well, last time I saw him in concert.
It was in the old Yankee Stadium.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, that's right.
A ball and a strike to Tom Brookins. 1-2 now. With Bobby Mercer, it's a Hey, fishing for foul balls there.
And believe it or not, when they miss those foul balls that come up behind, up in the luxury boxes behind home plate, tell you what, the fans in the stands that don't get an opportunity to fish with those fish nets on those balls, they really give them a hard time in booing them.
Still a ball and 2 strikes to Tom Brookins with 2 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Game's moving right along, isn't it?
And approaching 3 o'clock. No, it isn't. Not at all. Yankees head for Kansas City for the weekend. We'll be with you from Kansas City Sunday afternoon. Just missing. Even the count now at 2-2.
Kansas City Royals fighting it out in that Western Division. They're 2 games behind Oakland.
Two pitch up high and runs the count full now 3-2. For so many years, remember how a lot of the Eastern Division teams would say, boy, if we were just in the West, we'd be running away with things.
Right.
Suddenly the tables have turned.
The reverse.
Here's the full count pitch to Brookins. Check swing foul.
Those kind of check swing fouls, that's a good time to have your umbrella up. They went to a pile of umbrellas.
This time Brookins into right center field. Pasqua moves over, is there, and makes the catch. So the Yankees go in order here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, nobody left. At the end of 5, the Yankees 6 and the White Sox 5. Tommy Hutton will join us in just a moment. Right now, let's take you back to the MSG studios. Once again, here's Bob Page.
And good evening, everybody. Pete Rose not only gambled on Major League Baseball games, he did indeed bet on games involving his own Cincinnati Reds. That was the charge, at least, that lawyers for Baseball Commissioner Bart Giamatti made today. The scene was the Cincinnati courtroom, where attorneys for Rose were trying to stop Giamatti from holding hearings here in New York next week on Rose's alleged gambling habits. No decision was made on that particular issue. On the field tonight, first of all, in the American League, Baltimore leading California at this hour, 5-3 in the 6th inning. O's looking for their 7th straight win, have already knocked Jim Abbott out of the box. Oakland on top of Toronto, 2-1 in the 6th. Texas blowing out Boston in the 7th. This afternoon, Milwaukee beat Kansas City in 10. Cleveland leading Minnesota tonight, 8-7 in the 8th. And Juan Samuel will miss the Mets-Phillies series this weekend due to the birth of a child back home in the Dominican Republic.
Summer heat got you beat?
How would you two like to come to my house at the beach?
Love to! Come to the liveliest place around, Bernie's.
Oh, my God.
What kind of a host invites you to his house for the weekend and dies on you?
Nobody this dead
Is that the killer?
ever had this much fun. Weekend at Bernie's.
It's just Bernie!
Rated PG-13. Starts Wednesday, July 5th at theaters everywhere.
The Mets say they will announce tomorrow whether they'll put Darryl Strawberry on the disabled list due to his broken toe. Straw himself has said that he expects to be out at least the next 3 weeks. In the National League this afternoon at Philadelphia, Phillies clobbered St. Louis. Lenny Dykstra with a 2-run homer, his first in a Phillies uniform. Tonight, Chicago blanking Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati leads Atlanta 6-0 in the 7th inning. Barry Larkin a 3-run homer in that one. Now let's go back to Yankee Replay.
Welcome back for the top of the 6th inning. Greg Cadaret going to work, and he'll face Fred Manrique, Ozzie Guillen, and Ron Karkovice. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. Greg Gumbel joined now by Tommy Hutton, and the rain, we're happy to say, has let up. Fouled back, 1-2.
Somehow we knew that would just be a shower passing through, and we are all glad of that.
Well, Mercer's predicting tornadoes, and
just because he was right once doesn't make him an expert.
Manrique, line drive, center field. Kelly on the run makes the catch. Center fielder doesn't have much time to make that judgment.
especially when you have a line shot. On a fly ball, you have a little more time to react, but Kelly that time instantly got a good jump on the line drive by Manrique and made it there in plenty of time.
Manrique saying something like, gosh, I hit that ball hard and I should have gotten more out of it than that.
Well, he hit too hard last night.
Ozzie Guillen takes a called strike. 0-1 to the other Ozzie who plays shortstop in the major leagues. Chopped down to second. Steve Sachs. Out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and Greg Cadaret has made fast work of the 4 hitters he's faced.
He sure has. He's retired 4 in a row, and every time Ozzie Guillen gets up there, we've chronicled how he doesn't like to take too many pitches. He's hit the first pitch once and the second pitch twice so far today.
Ron Karkovice, you see, he stands in at 1 for 2 and misses that Cadaret delivery for strike 1.
There's nothing better than to come to a new ball club and have a good outing if you're a pitcher, or have a few good at-bats and a good ball game if you're a hitter.
That's a ball, and it's 1-1.
Number one, you want to please the fans. You want to please the front office for acquiring you, and you also want to please your peers, your teammates.
That one in the dirt. And that one got plate umpire Jim McKean. He was none too pleased that it got through Bob Guerin.
Probably telling Guerin, you have to knock that one down.
Got to get in front of it. 2-1. 2-2. And we've been joking about how the newest Yankees didn't get much sleep last night, and they in fact say they didn't get any. But at this stage of the game for Greg Cadaret, he's operating on adrenaline right now.
The adrenaline helps out a lot.
Karkovice swings and misses. Guerin recovers the ball and tags him out. So Greg Cadaret goes 5 for 5. Karkovice goes down swinging. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, and the Yankees holding on to a 1-run lead. Number 57, Sean Hilligus, has come on to pitch for the White Sox here in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Yankees lead it by a score of 6-5. Don Mattingly with home run number 9 in the 2nd inning. 3-run shot, putting the Yankees up 4-0. Ken Phelps hit a 2-run homer for the Yankees in the 4th. A Lions single in the 5th inning brought the White Sox to within 4 at 6-2, and then Darrell Boston's 3-run shot in the 5th made it 6-5. That's where we stand now as Mr. Hilligus comes on.
Well, Sean Hilligus has had a little bit of an injury problem as of late. In his 20 ball games, a 3-6 record, an earned run average of over 5. But Hilligus was hit on the pitching elbow in a ball game on June 16th. So he is coming out of the bullpen, and he'll be facing Kelly, Steve Sachs, and Alvaro Espinosa. So far this year, Hilligus in his 20 ball games has kind of split his time between the starting rotation and the bullpen. He started 10, and the rest have come out of the pen.
In relief of starter Kenny Patterson, Adam Peterson pitched 2 2/3 innings. Gave up 2 runs, both earned, 3 hits, walked nobody, and struck out 2. So here's Roberto Kelly with a walk and a fly ball to right field. 6-5 Yankees, bottom of the 6th inning. Greg Gumbel along with Tommy Hutton, Bobby Mercer, Lou Piniella, and a cast of thousands. Well, hundreds at least. Strike 1 to Roberto Kelly, who made a good running catch at the top of this inning on a line drive hit by Fred Manrique. Kelly takes it high, and the count's even at a ball and a strike.
Sean Hilligus is one of the many ball players, past and present, that has been designated player to be named later. That's how he came to Chicago.
1-2 now to Kelly.
Came to the White Sox in that deal when the Dodgers last year were seeking left-handed help, and they acquired Ricky Horton, left-hander, from the White Sox. And Sean Hilligus, who came up in the Dodgers organization, was the player to be named later.
Were you ever?
I was everything else but. I was sold. I was given to people.
Kelly foul tips it at the plate, and it stays 1-2.
Take this guy.
Kelly stands in, a .311 hitter with 3 home runs and 18 RBIs. Some concern as to whether he'd continue to have trouble with that wrist, as he did last year, showing no signs of it. Hits it deep to right field, but Pasqua on the warning track has room and makes the catch.
That's right. Certainly no ill signs of the wrist giving him problems since he came off the disabled list, because he has continued right on coming into this ballgame, a .313 batting average for Roberto.
You've got to figure that the Yankees will look to him more now that Ricky Henderson is gone, as well as number 6 here, Steve Sachs, to keep the infielders alive in the stolen base department.
Exactly right. And Sachs with 19 steals, and Kelly has 13.
Steve Sachs, 2 for 3. Takes a strike. 3 for 5 last night in that leadoff role, and 2 for 3 here today.
Sachs so far this year has 7 3-hit games already.
Tapped in front of the plate. Karkovice out in a hurry and makes the play at first. Boy, what an arm Ron Karkovice has on him.
Tell you what, when you're a first baseman, Greg Walker right there had to be alive. Karkovice came out of the chute in a hurry to pounce on that little chopper by Steve Sachs. And when he came up, he wasn't going to come easy to Greg Walker. He fired one about 95 miles an hour.
And the ball looked to sail a bit on it. And Walker had to make the full extension upwards at first base. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 6th inning. Here's Alvaro Espinoza. When he has not been hitting safely today, he's been giving himself up. A hit in the first, a sacrifice fly in the second, and a sacrifice bunt in the fourth. And Espinoza just made a beautiful throw last night to cut down Ozzie Guillen, trying to stretch a double into a triple. Hilligus gets it outside. It's 1-1.
You have to wonder what's going through Rafael Santana's mind. Santana comes out to the ballpark for some rehabilitation on his elbow after surgery.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Saw Rafi last night doing a little radio work for the Latin radio connection. It broadcasts a lot of Yankee games. Santana looked very comfortable behind the microphone.
Here's the 1-2, outside 2-2. You'd have to, I guess, in all honesty, you'd have to look at Rafi as a marketable commodity right now, because it's hard to picture the Yankees replacing Alvaro Espinoza the way he's playing ball now.
Then again, it's tough to market someone who's coming off surgery.
Espy swings and misses. The throw down is a precaution by Ron Karkovice. So the Yankees go in order again for the 2nd inning in a row. 6-5 Yankees, and Bobby Mercer rejoins Tommy Hutton right after this.
Through 6 innings at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees lead the White Sox 6-5. I'm Tommy Hutton. Bobby Mercer joins me back here in the booth as Greg Gumbel gets ready for the post-game report with Lou Piniella. Coming up in 3 innings, perhaps more. A 1-run ball game. And stepping in to lead things off for the White Sox is Dave Gallagher. The Trenton, New Jersey native is 3 for 3. And he looks at a curve for a strike. So Bobby, Greg Cadaret coming on in the 5th inning has retired 5 straight Chicago White Sox hitters.
And he has certainly looked sharp, and that's what the Yankees were hoping that they were getting from the Oakland A's. And Greg Cadaret was a guy that could come in and shut and snuff off a big rally by a ball club, and that's exactly what he has done.
1-1 pitch. Curveball slapped down the right field line into the corner, and Gallagher will be 4 for 4. He's going to test the arm of Barfield, but he'll make it to second. Gallagher with his 4th base hit of the afternoon. 4 for 4 for Gallagher.
Third baseman, Steve Lyons.
Well, the stride tutor inventor, Gallagher, Dave Gallagher, sends one down the right field line. He has certainly been a wonderful surprise for the Chicago White Sox. And now the Chicago White Sox with the tying run at second base, nobody out. And a lot of conversations going on. The Yankees had one out on the pitcher's mound. Now the third base coach and Steve Lyons having a conversation right at home plate.
You know what Ron Clark, the third base coach, might be saying is, Steve Lyons, you drop down a bunt in the 3rd inning. He may be trying to feel Lyons out and see if he feels more comfortable trying to pull the ball to get Gallagher to third base, or maybe another drag bunt, in which he did in the 3rd inning.
Probably telling Steve Lyons, if they really charge you, go ahead and take a swing at it. But bunt it down to third baseline. That's where you want him to bunt it, is down to third baseline to commit Brookins to making the play. That'll bring him off the third base bag and will obviously move Gallagher up with nobody covering. But if the Mattingly and Brookins start converging right on top of Lyons, go ahead and take a shot at it.
1-0 pitch. He takes a shot and he pops it out of play.
But I'll tell you what, if you take a shot, you better get the job done. These are the times and parts of the game that you cannot afford to make a mistake. And especially when you've got a record of 27 and 44, 17 games back, you've got to be able to execute in this situation, especially when you're down on the road.
Lyons is 2 for 2 today. The bunt single in the 3rd, and RBI base hit in the 5th. He squares, gets down a nice one. Guerin will have to hurry, and he can't make the play. Here comes Gallagher from 3rd, and he'll make it. So the White Sox execute, and the Yankees fail to execute. Lyons drops down the bunt, gets Gallagher to 3rd, and after the throw from Guerin, got by Steve Sachs, Gallagher came in to score.
The ball could be a little bit slick because it's been raining here at Yankee Stadium, but Bobby Guerin was a little bit hesitant. He thought maybe Catteray was going to make a play there, and then all of a sudden the ball kind of bounced and spins away from him. He has to turn around and throw the ball to Sachs, and looked like Steve Lyons had already beat the play out anyway. And the ball gets away from Sachs, and he slides down to try to retrieve it to throw back to home, but Gallagher scores.
Harold Baines bunting, and he fouls it off. Well, the ruling on that, Steve Lyons has been credited with a bunt base hit, and the run coming in to score on the throwing error by the catcher Bob Guerin. Well, Lyons is 3 for 3, top of the order for the White Sox, 7 for 7. They've been on base every time. The other time up for Lyons, he walked. So it's a 6-6 ball game. Baines takes outside, 1-1.
So far in the first 3 ball games, the White Sox have racked out 42 hits against the Yankees. They've got 11 already this afternoon. A total of 42 base hits. They're not through.
I started to look at some of the leaders with Gallagher getting his 4th base hit. He came into play today with 85 hits, now has 89. Kirby Puckett leads the league with 95, so Gallagher right up there. Baines takes a high fastball, and it's 2-1. 6 runs, 11 hits for Chicago. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Yankees. Steve Lyons at first base with nobody out here in the top half of the 7th inning. Baines misses the 2-1, and it's 2-2.
Catteray could get Baines to hit the ball on the ground. Baines, of course, still bothered by those bad knees of his. He would be a candidate for a double play. But you want to make sure you just get Baines out.
He scalds one into center. Coming hard is Kelly, and he makes a catch. Another fine play by Roberto Kelly to get a good jump on a sinking line drive that was hit hard, this time retiring Harold Baines.
Well, last night Roberto was criticized for not coming hard like this. He made a misjudgment on the ball last night, and if he would have come like that, he probably would have made the catch, but you get caught in between, and that's when you make the mistake. And Roberto at that time did not hesitate as he came on with that liner. Outstanding play by Kelly in center.
So with one down, Darrell Boston, who had a pinch hit 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Boston, not accustomed to seeing many left-handers, takes a strike as he had showed bunt.
It looks like everybody in this lineup's going to bunt now.
Boston hitting .221.
Well, Cadaret should be at hog heaven because Lyons a left-handed batter, Harold Baines a left-handed batter, Boston a left-handed batter, Greg Walker a left-handed batter, Danny Pasqua a left-handed batter. Those are the guys that Cadaret is supposed to get out.
And the White Sox today with Carlos Martinez, who injured a quadricep, working with just a couple of righties on the bench now, Carlton Fisk and Eddie Williams. So that's what Jeff Torborg has to work with this afternoon.
And both of those guys are right-handed batters.
Cadaret trying to keep Lyons close with that snap throw over to first. 6-6 tie, 1 out, top of the 7th. Call strike 3 on a breaking pitch that painted the outside part of the plate.
Well, a perfect pitch for Cadaret, and the slider on the outside corner. Boston was just stunned.
You'd have to think, Bobby, with that situation, talking about the right-handers on the bench and all the lefties in the lineup, that right now Dallas Green has a little bit of an upper hand. Guterman, Righetti still in the bullpen for the Yankees.
Yeah, and you don't know how long or how many innings that Cadaret had been going for the Oakland A's. I know one thing, that Tony La Russa is not the kind of guy that stays with any one of his pitchers out of the bullpen too long.
He had so many to work with out there.
Cadaret has not had a whole lot of sleep. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. And as we mentioned that, the bullpen begins to get ready.
And he throws one low that can't be handled by Mattingly. On to second goes Steve Lyons. So Cadaret, who features a couple of different type moves to first base, the quick snap throw and then the more conventional pickoff attempt. That time threw it low and in the dirt. He's charged with an error. The Yankees have made 2 errors here in the 7th inning. So Lyons moves into scoring position for Greg Walker. Up the middle, under the glove of Cadaret and into center field. Lyons comes in to score, and the White Sox take the lead 7-6.
Well, both mistakes have cost the Yankees in this inning. 2 errors have produced 2 runs. And right-hander Eric Plunk now warming up for the Yankees. The other part of that trade from the Oakland A's. But the White Sox, meanwhile, they have taken the lead here in the top of the 7th inning, 7-6.
So the left-handers are coming through for Jeff Torborg. Here's another one, Dan Pasqua. First pitch is a ball, and it's 1-0. Fastball in there, 1-1 to Pasqua. The Walker comes through after the error by Cadaret to put the White Sox ahead. Pulled to Sachs, an easy 2-hopper. The White Sox are finally gone in the 7th inning, but the Yankees make a couple of costly errors. Chicago, with those errors and the help of 3 base hits, score twice, and the White Sox take the lead. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 7-6 Chicago.
It's time for the 7th inning stretch.
Well, it's time for the Miller Lite home run inning, and today's contestant is Patty Olson of Hope Lawn, New Jersey. Just for being picked, you win a couple of tickets to a Yankee game, and you're eligible for one of 2 grand prize trips to a Yankees away game in Toronto. If the Yankees hit a home run during the inning, you can win a Sharp VCR, and if it's a grand slam, you win a Sharp television. And remember, when it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great, and here's how you enter. Send it a postcard with your name, address, phone number. As Don Mattingly leads things off for the Yankees, bottom of the 7th. Yankees trail 7-6 as Mattingly brings his .302 average to the plate. Hillegas fires, and it misses for a ball. Well, you look back at Mattingly's career at the dates and the time he has spent under 300. This is the 2nd longest time that he has taken to reach that 300 level. And interesting, in 1985, it took him to July to reach that magic number. But that was the year he hit 35 home runs and had 145 RBIs. Hillegas falls behind. He's
what you call extremely hitterish right now. Mattingly is not jumping out in front of the pitches. He's waiting for the ball to come to him, and he's got that short, quick stroke.
And he utilizes it there on the 3-0 and fouls it off. Also noticed another thing. He's come up about a ½ inch or an inch on the bat. Not many hitters nowadays choke up very much.
Yeah, gives him more back control. He's also widened his stance out a bit to keep him from overstriding.
So look at the hand. See, he's up about an inch on the handle. And he hits one down the right field line. If it stays fair, it's trouble. It's trouble. Mattingly with his 2nd home run ties the game at 7-7. Trouble for the White Sox, but not for the Yankees and not for Patty Olson. You've just won a Sharp VCR. And our Miller Lite home run inning. Mattingly with his 10th home run of the year. All 10 have come at Yankee Stadium.
Well, you can see Don Mattingly, and boy, what an outstanding, beautiful swing that he put on that ball. He got out in front of it just a bit to lift it up high, but in a perfect position at Yankee Stadium, just inside the foul pole at the 314 mark. Used to be only 296 down there. You didn't have to put that much effort in it.
Mattingly with 4 RBIs in the game. Here's Ken Phelps taking ball 1. Phelps fouls it off. I think, Bobby, they're going to have to check that tail of the tape. They always measure the home runs here at the stadium, and the tail of the tape tells us that was 425 feet.
No, that's Ken Phelps' home run.
Oh, okay.
Last time.
Okay, I'll believe that.
I don't believe it. Let's still check it.
This time Phelps goes the other way. Hits it into left field for Darrell Boston. 1 down. Phelps had the home run in the 4th inning, a pinch hit shot.
How do they do that, with a survey stick?
Survey stick says
425. Who cares as long as it gets over the fence?
So it's back to a tie game, 7-7. Here's Mel Hall. Up the middle and out of the reach of Manrique. Mel Hall with his first base hit today is 1 for 3. I hope you've stayed with us this afternoon. The Yankees at one point led 6-1. The White Sox battled back, made it a 6-5 Yankee lead, then went ahead with 2 runs in the 7th inning, 7-6. The Yankees have tied it in the bottom half of the 7th, and with 1 down, have Mel Hall at first base for Jesse Barfield. Patterson, Peterson, and now Sean Hillegas for the White Sox. Little low to Jesse, ball 1. So a couple of pitchers this afternoon have been able to shake that hook. Breaking pitch, ball 2.
Eric Plunk still warming up in the Yankee bullpen. That may be all for Cadaret, and Plunk may be coming in to pitch to the Chicago White Sox in the 8th inning. Plunk still warming up.
You have to think that Cadaret, with the all-night flight, had the adrenaline going the first few hitters, but then after a while that wears off, and you have to feel he probably tired. So
he hung some pitches. In fact, he hung the breaking ball to Gallagher, who got all that started.
Slider misses for ball 3, 3-0. Yankees playing their 70th game of the season, trying to win number 34. And Hillegas loses Barfield. The Yankees will have runners at first and second. The batter due up is Bob Garrett, but it appears Dallas Green will go to the bench, and now Jeff Torborg will go to the mound. Mike Pagliarulo is getting loose in the on-deck circle, and he has been announced.
Well, Torborg is going to go out and talk to home plate umpire Jim McKeon first. Possibly Sean Hillegas hurt himself, and he wants to take McKeon out there. So Torborg will go out and visit with Hillegas. He hurt himself, I guess, because somebody, whoever it is warming up the bullpen. They just got up. I don't think that they are ready to come in. As he took the umpire out to the pitcher's mound with him, so Hillegas will leave, and it looks like he's going to leave with some kind of an injury.
Well, I mentioned that 6 days ago, Hillegas was hit on the elbow with a line drive, so perhaps that's what's bothering him right now. And so Torborg has gone to the bullpen, and it will be Don Paul to pitch. Paul worked briefly in the ball game last night. So the right-hander will come on with 1 out. The Yankees trying to take the lead again in the 7th inning. Mel Hall at second base, Jesse Barfield at first base with 1 out. So as Don Paul trots in from the Yankee bullpen, he'll get ready to work to the pinch hitter Mike Pagliarulo in a tie ball game.
Well, Don Paul will come on to pitch here in the bottom of the 7th inning for the White Sox. Hillegas left this game due to some kind of an injury, possibly that sore elbow flared up on him again. So Don Paul will get all the pitches that he needs to warm up because of that injury. And last night he pitched a 3rd of an inning for the White Sox, yielded a home run to Don Mattingly.
Bobby, while we have a few moments and Paul loosens up, I know one of the topics around baseball has been the Pete Rose situation. You have a little information in your hands about what's going on this afternoon.
Well, this off the wire. Of course, they're in Cincinnati right now. In the judge's office, or in court, as you would say. The attorneys representing the office of the baseball commissioner admitted today that they have evidence that Cincinnati Reds manager Pete Rose bet heavily on games involving the Cincinnati Reds. Now, that's a little bit more severe than just betting on baseball. Now, if it is true and Pete Rose is convicted of betting on Cincinnati Reds baseball games, he could be suspended for life from baseball.
Now, part of that evidence, according to what I've read in trying to follow this whole situation with Pete Rose, part of that evidence supposedly is some slips, some betting slips that have Pete Rose's signature and even fingerprints. And according to Bartlett Giamatti, the commissioner of baseball, and his staff, they have come up with handwriting experts that say that is the signature of Pete Rose. Pete Rose, on the other hand, and his attorneys are saying that that might not be the case, and they want to have those slips examined by someone else.
Well, the only reason that this disclosure came about because Rose's attorneys are in Cincinnati And in the Cincinnati court, attempting to obtain a restraining order against the baseball commissioner, Mr. Giamatti, and his evidence. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And either way, it's not a good situation for baseball or for Pete Rose.
All right, as Don Paul continues to warm up, well, what do you do if you join a club and you're new to the team? You sit next to the hottest hitter, Luis Polonia, sitting right next to Don Mattingly. Mattingly with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs in the game today. And Polonia sitting right there between Andy Hawkins and Don Mattingly, talking things over. And happy to be in New York. Polonia said he had always dreamed of being a Yankee. He has family and friends that live just around the corner, 169th Street, who are happy that he's in the pinstripes.
Well, the pass list ought to be hot and heavy for Luis Polonia here at Yankee Stadium.
Mentioned that the Yankees leave after the ball game and go to Kansas City. The matchups in that 3-game series tomorrow night, Dave Island, who pitched well the other night, gets a start. He's 1-0, and he'll be up against a tough one for the Royals, right-hander Mark Gubicza. Gubicza with a 2.56 earned run average. Then LaPointe and Kevin Appier in the Saturday game. Charlie Leibrandt will pitch on Sunday for Kansas City. The Yankees have yet to name a starter in that ball game as we check on scores on the Wiz out-of-town scoreboard in the National League. Phillies bombarding St. Louis. In the American League, a game in the 4th inning at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Kansas City leading 1-0. So it seems like all those new players with the Phillies. Let's see who they get. They got John Kruk, Randy Reddy from the San Diego Padres, Roger McDowell, Lenny Dykstra, a couple of young pitchers. So they have some new players. A familiar face to Yankee fans, Dave Righetti, loosens in the bullpen. So with 1 down, the Yankees try to break a 7-7 tie. Mike Pagliarulo pinch hitting for Bob Guerin. The first pitch is off speed and it fools Pag.
Well, Don Paul has an outstanding split-fingered fastball, and you just saw it right there. It's a pitch you've got to be awfully careful with because it can cause you to hit the ball on the ground, and that's what Don Paul wants Pagliarulo to do. He'd like to get the double play and get out of this inning.
He tries it again, and Pag stays away from it. 1-1. So the inning started with Mattingly's 2nd home run of the game, a solo shot, his 10th of the season, to tie it. Now, Ken Phelps flied to left. Mel Hall had a base hit. Jesse Barfield walked. Pags puts it in the air. Back of third base. Lions can't make a play. So the count 1-2 to the pinch hitter, Mike Pagliarulo. 7 runs, 12 hits for the White Sox. 7 runs, 12 hits for the Yankees. The Yankees have made 2 errors. One of those runs of Chicago in the top half of this inning was unearned. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Got him with that split finger pitch.
On the outside corner, watch it just drop. The bottom completely drops out of it, and a perfect pitch as it catches the outside corner.
So with 2 down, here's Tom Brookins, who has had some good rips, some good appearances today. He has another good one. Line drive center field. This will score Hall from second base. The throw goes to third and gets by Lyons. Another run scores, and the Yankees take a 9-7 lead.
Well, thanks to Steve Lyons, the Yankees pick up another run, and Jeff Torpor cannot believe it. Lyons just actually, he took his eye off the ball. He was more interested in making the tag on Barfield, and he tried to make the tag before he got the ball in his glove. Outstanding hitting by Tom Brookins in a crucial situation to put the Yankees out in front.
Roberto Kelly, the next hitter, as we look at the base hit by Brookins.
But if you watch Gallagher throw, and Lyons trying to put the tag on Barfield, he did not even get the ball in his glove.
The throw was a good throw.
So a gift from Steve Lyons.
Kelly misses the split finger pitch, and it's 1-1. So Tom Brookins had a double in the second inning, and since then has picked up 2 more hits, the last 2 hits coming off right-handed pitching. Brookins 3 for 4 today. Fouled off, and it's 1-2. So the Yankees have come back with 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning and lead 9-7.
Torborg cannot believe that ball got by Lyons. Still talking about it on the bench. I don't blame him.
A hanger, and it's popped in the air. Shallow right field. Coming hard is Pasqua. Basket grab, and he makes the out. So the Yankees are done in the 7th inning, but they come back and take the lead on a home run, an error, a couple of singles. After 7 at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees have 9, and the Chicago White Sox have 7.
This is MSG.
Be with us Sunday for more exciting New York Yankees baseball following MSG Sports Desk and Yankee Scorecard at 2 o'clock. The Yankees take on the Kansas City Royals at Royals Stadium. Don't miss the Yankees versus the Royals Sunday, 2 o'clock here on MSG Network.
Well, a new pitcher for the Yankees here in the top of the 8th inning. Yankees taking the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, 9-7. Dave Righetti, one of the stoppers out of the Yankee bullpen. You can see he has 11 saves, and he picked up his 11th save on Saturday as he pitched the 9th inning. Rags has been pitching a lot better here lately, and he will try to shut him down. That being the Chicago White Sox. So take a look at Don Slott, who will now take over the catching duties as Bob Guerin was pinch hit for in the last inning.
So Dallas Green stays with the lefties, has a new battery as we go to the 8th inning. Righetti and Slott. Fred Manrique steps in. He goes after the first pitch and hits a high fly ball center field. Roberto Kelly usually makes those plays, and he does for 1 down. So the line on Greg Cadaret worked 2 2/3 innings. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. 1 of the runs was earned, the other unearned. No walks and 3 strikeouts. And right now Cadaret stands to pick up a decision and win a ball game in his first outing as a Yankee. Ozzie Guillen 0 for 3 today. Ozzie not a power hitter and doesn't walk very much. 9 walks in over 300 at bats. He takes a strike, and it's 0-1. And talking about not being a power hitter, he's gone 925 ABs without going deep.
Well, at least he's consistent.
He wanted to swing at that. Yeah. It's outside. 1-1.
He wanted to swing at it. The body just wouldn't let him. Being 2 runs down, I'd make Ozzie Guillen take this pitch. I mean, there's no reason.
That's a good point.
No reason for him to swing at that pitch. It cost him about 300.
And I think I think Jeff Torborg had the take sign on that first pitch. He knows his ball club's down by 2. He knows the type of hitter Guillen is. 1-2 pitch. Fastball fouled off.
Brookins was giving Guillen all kinds of room at third base. All he had to do was get the ball down with his kind of speed. Bunted down the third base line. I mean, it's too late now. He's got 2 strikes on him, but before he had 2 strikes on him, Brookins was giving him a lot of room. Not quite that much room, but almost.
He's able to check his swing, and the count's 2-2. Third base umpire Jim Joyce making the call. Ozzy's another one of those hitters if you managed him, you would prefer to see him try to bunt a little bit more.
Absolutely. He even tried that early in the season.
And he misses the hard Righetti slider. 2 down. So Rags has come on to retire the first 2 hitters here in the 8th inning. Yankees lead 9-7. Here's another look at that slider.
Absolutely no reason for Ozzie Guillen to be hitting about 230 or under. Jeff Torborg not happy with that at-bat by Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie Guillen has more ability to do that. He's just got to get that ability out of himself. He's a free swinger, as we've mentioned many times. He just goes up there hacking. He's not that patient at the plate.
You know, one thing about
when he learns to be more patient at the plate, if he does, he's going to be a heck of a lot better hitter, and he's a 300 hitter if he does that.
Carlton Fisk will be the pinch hitter for Ron Karkovice. Don't have to tell you a lot about Carlton Fisk. I think anyone who's followed this game certainly knows what he has accomplished. And he hit his 307th career home run as a catcher. He's hit more than that, but he hit his 307th as a catcher last night, breaking a tie with Yogi Berra for the American League record, and second most all time. He has a few more to go. Johnny Bench, the leader. Bench hit 327 as a catcher.
Got only 20 more to go to be the all-time leader in that category, and he will take his time. You can see the 307th career home run last night.
Well, he told
9 for 18.
He told Greg Gumbel on the scorecard show today that this being a day game after a night game, he was going to get the day off, but more than likely we'd get a chance to see him about the 7th or 8th inning, and here it is in the 8th. But you'd rather see him in this situation. 2 out, nobody on. The Yankees lead by 2, 9-7.
Got an operation on his right hand. He's got a small plate in his right hand. It's still a little bit sore. He mentioned that to me yesterday, but he pounded the ball like it was not sore against the Yankees last night. Being a catcher, you've got to play with a little pain.
41-year-old Carlton Fisk. A strike by Righetti, and it's 1-1. 9 years Fisk toiled for the Red Sox. This his 9th year for the Chicago White Sox. One. Outside, 2-1 to Fisk. $21,677 on hand this afternoon. And it's been an exciting ball game. Some long balls, a lot of scoring. Breaking pitch in for a strike. 2-2 now to Fisk.
One of the toughest situations is to sit on the bench with 7 innings and have to come out and produce, especially for a guy that's 41 years old. Hard to get those old bones and those muscles loosened up to swing the bat.
Off the hands. Righetti can't get it. Espinosa does, and Fisk is retired. So get up, Rags. You have 1 more inning to go. White Sox are gone in the top of the 8th. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Yankees lead Chicago 9-7. For a change, the Yankee dugout with a few smiles in this series. Carlton Fisk, who came on as a pinch hitter, remains in the game. He'll be behind the plate. If you like to keep score and you like to stay accurate in keeping your score, the play in the 7th inning when the throw from center field went on to third base and got by Steve Lyons. Originally it was charged an error to the center fielder, but the throw was a good throw, and that has now been changed. The error now to Steve Lyons, the third baseman.
And that's the proper call. Well, some more activity in the White Sox bullpen. McCarthy now Tom McCarthy beginning to warm up. The Yankees got the top of their order coming up here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Steve Sachs with a pair of base hits, a single and a double today. Facing right-hander Don Paul. Trying to bunt. It bites in the grass. Lyons tried to make a play, but I believe the ball would have gone foul if he let it go.
If he lets it go, it's going to roll foul because it was going to hit off the edge of that grass cutting where the grass and the dirt portion meet. If he'd have let it go, it would have gone foul. But Steve Lyons trying to make a barehanded play out of it. Watch him start kicking towards the foul line, and he lets it go. But it's going to be a base hit for Steve Sachs.
Sachs with that base hit now has 3 in the game. Sachs was 3 for 5 last night, and that's his 8th 3-hit game this year.
That's what leadoff men are supposed to do. Now we may see something from Sachs and Espinosa. Like a sacrifice.
Another beautiful bunt by Alvaro Espinosa. The White Sox make the play, and Sachs moves into scoring.
And we'll probably see Mattingly put on and pitch to Phelps.
The crowd reacting to Mattingly standing in to hit. Mattingly with 3 hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. But somehow I think a little bit of that applause should go to Alvaro Espinosa, who has really done the job in all the little categories today.
Well, they got a lot more responsibility, the second place hitter.
Mattingly won't get a chance to do anymore as well, certainly Jeff Torborg, who's been around Don Mattingly many years, knows what this man can do when he gets in a groove.
Well, you don't want to have to pitch to Mattingly. Take your chances with Kenny Phelps. It sets up the double play. If you can get Phelps to hit the ball on the ground, possibly you'll get the double play, get out of the inning.
So Mattingly takes the intentional pass. Sachs, by the way, with that hit, now has 90 base hits on the year. Jeff Torborg likes to surround himself with good coaches. He also has some family working for him. His younger son, Dale, mans that video camera at the end of the dugout. Another son of Jeff's, Greg, one of the bullpen catchers. So the Torborg clan from New Jersey here at Yankee Stadium, all working on this Thursday afternoon.
Jeff knows a lot about baseball. He will help these White Sox out. He gets an opportunity to stay there very long.
Phelps takes a strike on the first pitch by Don Paul. Phelps pinch hitting in the 4th inning for Steve Balboni. Hit a 2-run home run. It was his 2nd pinch hit home run this year, and he now has 8 pinch hit RBIs. Fouls it back, and it's 0-2. He was right on that pitch.
Yes, he was.
Talk about Mattingly getting in a groove. Here's another guy, if he could find that groove.
Don Paul has been on the disabled list already this year. Back in early May with a sore right elbow. You throw that split-fingered fastball, a lot of people say all it does is cause problems.
Base hit for Phelps up the middle. This will score Sachs. Mattingly on to second. So Ken Phelps, after the walk to Mattingly, comes through with a base hit. He has 3 RBIs in the game, and the Yankees lead 10-7.
Don Paul is not popping that ball right now. It's just kind of hanging up in the strike zone. That fork ball, that split finger, just kind of floating up there. It's not, doesn't have the same bite that it had when he first came into this game. But I was mentioning there's a lot of controversy surrounds the split-fingered fastball and what it does to the elbow and the shoulder.
Here's Mel Hall taking ball 1. Well, the Yankees have reached the 15-hit plateau. 10 runs and 15 hits. White Sox 7 runs, 12 hits. Hall has 1 of those hits. Takes inside for ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Hall goes after it and rips it foul.
Just like batting practice now. You can see the ball just kind of hanging up in the strike zone. There's activity in the White Sox bullpen. It looks like Hall's got a dead arm.
Ever hear that term of a hitter jumping all over a pitch? That was Mel Hall as Tom McCarthy continues to warm up. Foul. He found the upper deck, but the ball curled past the pole in foul territory about 10 or 12 feet.
All that did was stir some pigeons up in the upper deck, got them all upset, and it's a long strike.
And give a couple of youngsters a chance.
Those are not pigeons. Those are young fans.
Come on, a little more to the right. No, back the other way. Inside, the count goes full, 3-2. The Yankees scoring 10 runs this afternoon. That's the most runs they've scored here at Yankee Stadium. They had a 12-run game in Milwaukee and an 11-run game in Texas. But the biggest outburst so far here at the stadium. 3-2 popped out of play. I imagine you stirred a few pigeons here at Yankee Stadium. Upper deck shots.
Oh, yeah. But every game, when I was tired, I used to stir them down on the lower section around the 296 mark. But when I felt good, upper deck each time.
3-2. Hall trying to stir a few more around. Fouls this one way off.
I'll tell you what, Mel Hall is going to be awfully mad if he doesn't hit the ball marked someplace this time at bat. He's right on top of Don Paul, who's just really, right now, he is struggling. You can see that Mel, he's trying to jerk one out of here the best he can.
One thing for sure, he's going to go down swinging.
Yes, he is.
You just see the look on Mel Hall. Here's the 3-2. Up the middle. Manrique to Guillen. And it's a double play. Well, he got it on the nose, but he hit it on the ground, and the White Sox turn 2. The Yankees are out here in the 8th inning and take a 10-7 lead with the White Sox coming up in the top half of the 9th. Rigetti and the Yankees try to nail one down. A win in this series. White Sox won the first 2 games. Yankees lead here 10-7 as we go to the 9th inning. But Dave Gallagher, who has today his second career 4-hit game, stands in. Gallagher has upped his average to 305.
Gallagher has also scored 3 runs for the White Sox.
Fastball, 1-1. We've talked a lot about Bob Guerin getting an opportunity after spending 10 years in the minor leagues. Dave Gallagher, 8 or 9 years before he got a chance, a little bit with Cleveland in '87. Came on strong with the White Sox. Started at Vancouver last year. Hit .303 in 101 games for Chicago.
He was out of baseball. They signed him as a free agent. And he had decided that he was going to give it one more shot if the White Sox would give him a chance. They did. And it has paid off.
So hats off to perseverance of Dave Gallagher. 2-2's the count. And so far today, the action for the White Sox in their order: Gallagher 4 for 4. Steve Lyons, the number 2 hitter, is 3 for 3 with a walk. The middle, Rags has it. So for the first time this afternoon, Dave Gallagher makes it out. Rigetti has retired 4 straight. course, Greg Cadaret, who stands to pick up the win, used to seeing a relief pitcher come on to follow a pitcher who sets things up and nail things down in Dennis Eckersley. Well, he'll have to get used to Dave Righetti. Off the end of the bat. A lot of spin on that roller, and Espinosa fires over to first, 2 down.
I think Cadaret could get used to it as long as he can break into the win column. This will be the first win for Cadaret this year if he does, and the Yankees do hang on, which it looks like they're going to do.
So stepping in with 2 down and nobody on base, Harold Baines. And Baines rips one right through the middle. Baines with his second hit today. So the White Sox are going to go down scrapping. They have battled back. The Yankees led 6-1 after 4 innings of play, but Chicago scored 4 times in the 5th inning. Went ahead 7-6 with 2 runs in the 7th. And the Yankees scored 3 in the bottom half of the 7th and 1 more in the 8th. That's the way it stands. 10-7 Yanks with 2 out. Darrell Boston, the batter.
It was this guy that really got the White Sox back into this game with that 3-run shot over the center field wall.
And he did it as a pinch hitter, pitching for Ivan Calderon, who had to leave the game with some soreness in his chest area. Mattingly certainly not worried about Baines at first base. Mattingly playing in his normal position with the left-hander up there, not holding Baines. Fouled off, and it's 1-2 now to Darrell Boston. Runs, 15 hits for the Yankees, 7 runs, 13 hits for the Chicago White Sox. So the White Sox have continued their offense, but the Yankees have been better. Line drive, left field, diving catch by Hall. What a way to end it. Slicing fly ball that was sinking into left field. Mel Hall came and got it. And the Yankees win it 10-7 to salvage the final game of this 3-game series. But it wasn't easy against the last place Chicago White Sox. So Greg Cadaret comes over after an all-night flight and picks up his first win. He came over with a 0-0 record, so his first decision this year. Dave Righetti picks up his 12th save, and what an afternoon for Don Mattingly. So once again, the final score, the Yankees win it 10-7 against the Chicago White Sox, and they'll be on to Kansas City shortly.